vessel carrying thousands of luxury cars caught the fire off the coast of Portugal's Azores Islands.
A local diver is sharing video of a rare moment with a giant octopus near Campbell River.
Spanning over 70% of the planet, the ocean remains one of Earth's most intimidating and mysterious places. Its unfathomable depths, unpredictable waves, and strange creatures make it a dangerously uncertain terrain. To this day, we continue to uncover its baffling mysteries, from unexpected finds to an underwater ice wall. Join us as we show you 20 shocking moments caught in the middle of the ocean. Number 20. Fukushima's Ice Wall. When you hear the word ice wall, what comes to mind? The frozen barricade protecting Westeros from White Walkers in Game of Thrones? Well, in reality, far from fiction, an actual ice wall exists in our world. Instead of shielding humans from White Walkers, though, this underwater frosty wall contains contaminated water. In 2011, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant in Japan suffered a catastrophic meltdown due to damage from an earthquake and tsunami. This resulted in radioactive contamination spreading into the surrounding environment. To help contain the ongoing pollution of groundwater, an ingenious engineering project was devised: the construction of a massive underground frozen barrier wall around the damaged reactors. The Tokyo Electric Power Company, which operates Fukushima Daiichi, commenced building an ice wall in 2014. This involved sinking pipes into the ground and circulating refrigerant through them. This freezing process created an impermeable barricade of ice, stemming the flow of polluted groundwater. Workers had to drill 780 boreholes, each going 33 meters deep and spaced a few meters apart. Over 1,600 pipes were inserted into the holes and connected to refrigeration units. By early 2015, ice started forming, and eventually, the frozen wall stretched 30 meters deep and 2 meters thick. This icy barrier has been an effective part of managing the aftermath of the Fukushima nuclear disaster, as it successfully cut the amount of contaminated water by 95%. Number 19. Luxury sports cars. In one of the most spectacular ocean disasters of recent years, nearly 4,000 luxury vehicles worth upwards of $334.5 million met a fiery demise aboard the transport ship Felicity Ace in March of 2022. Manufactured by German auto giant Volkswagen Group, the posh sports cars represented premium brands Porsche, Audi, Lamborghini, Bentley, and more. Videos surfaced showing smoke billowing from the 650-foot-long cargo vessel adrift in the Atlantic Ocean, about 90 miles from the Azores Islands, a Portuguese archipelago. The ship had originally departed Emden, Germany on February 10th, carrying its precious VIP cargo to Davisville, Rhode Island in the United States. Roughly 2 weeks into its transatlantic voyage, an emergency distress signal rang out on February 16th, citing a catastrophic onboard blaze. Portuguese Air Force photos displayed gaping holes scorched through the cargo decks as veteran sailors remarked on the intensity and difficulty battling ship fires raging so far from land support. After struggling 17 days against the inferno, the decision was made on March 1st to intentionally sink the Felicity Ace, along with its multi-million-dollar trove of toasted sports cars. Dutch salvage company Boskalis oversaw the flooded scuttling, sending the ruined ship over 10,000 feet to its watery grave. The entire crew had been safely evacuated earlier in the ordeal, with no casualties suffered besides wounded corporate bank accounts. Porsche alone is said to have lost roughly $155 million worth of vehicles to the ravaging flames. Number 18. Zombie-proof Lighthouse. Along Iceland's rocky southern shores stands a lone watchtower known as the Thridrangaviti Lighthouse, translated as Three Rocks Lighthouse, named after the steep and barren trio of sea stacks on which it precariously perches. First lit in 1939 on the eve of World War II, navigating materials and work crews to build on such treacherous seaside precipices proved a major feat of human stubbornness and determination, no matter the challenge posed by the elements. Commander Ari Arason led the expedition, scaling nearly vertical cliff faces to reach the chosen site, setting the critical foundation by hand that would support the vital beam steering ships between the hazardous, submerged blockade. Teams utilized rudimentary safety techniques, fastening themselves to perilous scaffolding tilted over frigid North Atlantic waves pounding below. Marvels of construction daring. It's a testament these days more to madness than courage for subjecting workers to such harrowing conditions in the name of infrastructure progress. Completed just as Europe descended into horrific wartime chaos, 3 Drangaviti Lighthouse endured stoically through decades, guiding vessels navigating coastal waters and violent storms alike. It even features a helipad allowing periodic maintenance crews and supply deliveries to bypass reliance on now antiquated mountain climbing gear techniques necessary during initial building phases. This shining tower of oceanic solitude has sparked fascination across internet channels and social media over recent years, as remote camera feeds provide viewers stark window views into the inhospitable environment. Dubbed zombie-proof thanks to sheer cliff terrain on all sides encasing the lighthouse complex, one mishap on precarious outcroppings or accessed via chopper could still easily turn the nearest ladder or staircase into a one-way plunge. Not advised for those skittish around extreme heights or absent survival swimming skills. Number 17. Phantom Jellyfish. In the dark depths of the Pacific Ocean lurks some of the most elusive and mystifying creatures of the deep, and researchers keep trying to find them. Recently, they were filming the ocean when something you can only see once in a lifetime happened. They captured extraordinary footage of this ethereal sea dweller off the coast of Monterey Bay, California, the phantom jellyfish. Reaching over 3 feet in diameter with mouth arms extending an astonishing 30 feet long, this alien-like jellyfish is a rare and spellbinding sight. The giant phantom, scientifically named Stygiomedusa gigantea, inhabits what is known as the mesopelagic zone of the ocean, at depths of around 3,000 feet where little sunlight penetrates. It was first discovered in 1899 after being trawled from deep waters off the coast of Massachusetts. Since then, sightings have been scarce, with only around 100 to 110 encounters recorded over the past century. Despite its phantom-esque appearance, this jellyfish does not possess stinging tentacles. Instead, it uses its voluminous oral arms to ensnare unsuspecting critters before consuming them. The species can be found in oceans globally, but tends to favor temperate and subpolar latitudes. Its range spans from Japan, past southern California, and down to the Southern Ocean encircling Antarctica. The recent footage captured by Mbari researchers is some of the only existing video recordings of these elusive giants alive and drifting in their deep-sea realm. It offers a fleeting glimpse into the lives of an animal rarely witnessed by human eyes. As the jellyfish hovers under the control of submersible thrusters, its wispy translucent form and trailing tentacles are reminiscent of a ghostly figure from fantasy or science fiction. Yet this alien world is very much real, showcasing the wonders and mysteries contained in the twilight zone of our oceans. Number 16. Hugging Octopus. Imagine swimming off Vancouver Island's shores when suddenly an 8-armed creature rockets from the depths and embraces you in a startling yet tender hug. This incredible chance encounter transpired recently for commercial diver Andrea Humphreys while visiting sites 30 feet deep, scattered with sunken structures off Campbell River. Video footage documents her gasps of disbelief when a giant Pacific octopus compressed and coiled lovingly around her cephalopod, curious to inspect a potentially tasty guest. By fortunate coincidence, Humphrey's adventurous career frequently acclimatized her to invertebrate antics, so initial alarm rapidly shifted to awe at returning gentle contact. Number 15. Selfie gone wrong. Anglers worldwide can likely relate to the blunder committed by this overeager fisherman, so fixated on capturing a prized grip and grin photo that calamity takes an expensive twist when celebrations prematurely rain down. Video documents the dedicated angler fully outfitted in sunglasses and hat, relishing reeling in his latest quarry as any seasoned sportswoman would across shimmering seas. Pride beams as our pescatarian photographer positions his palm-sized catch next to his beaming face, an image forever frozen when his finger clicks the cell phone camera shutter. Unfortunately, muscle memory betrays focus in that exultant instant. Once photo duties cease, the fish remains there, but the phone gets flung into the water. Farewell to the phone. Number 14. Flying Spaghetti Monster. As researchers explored the depths of the South Atlantic off the coast of Angola in 2021, they came across an odd life form that looked curiously like a tangled cluster of spaghetti. This bizarre organism is known scientifically as Bathyphysa conifera, but has earned the moniker of the flying spaghetti monster thanks to its peculiar noodle-like gonophores. Despite its silly nickname, B. conifera is not a single organism but rather a colony of zooids that function together as a unit. It belongs to a group known as siphonophores, a type of hydrozoans related to jellyfish and anemones. There are over 175 known species of siphonophore that inhabit all of the world's oceans. These creatures propel themselves by flapping ribbon-like tissue along the length of their transparent bodies. They also use stinging tentacles called nematocysts to capture prey. Bathyphysa conifera is an especially long siphonophore, with specimens reaching over 130 feet in recorded length from their float-like pneumatophore down to their long, thin tentacles. Their spaghetti strand-like reproductive structures contain eggs and sperm, which facilitate asexual budding into new zooids. Young gonophores start pink in color before maturing into yellow with just a single feeding tentacle. Siphonophores like B. conifera generally live in deep ocean waters from 1,000 to 4,000 meters down, in a zone known as the bathypelagic. Their relative rarity makes any footage a special treat for marine biologists seeking to understand these denizens of the deep. Number 13. Megalodon. Beneath the waves exists a creature so enormous, so monstrous in size and strength, that the imagination trembles with excitement, or is it fear? For centuries, legends have persisted across cultures of colossal sharks to make modern great whites look like guppies. Marine scientists have classified this mythical mega-predator as the Megalodon, the largest shark to ever exist at recorded lengths of 50 feet on average. Megalodons ruled over oceans from approximately 23 to 2.6 million years ago during the early Miocene to the end of Pliocene eras. Rather than the iconic triangular great white form, megalodons more closely resembled extra beefy versions of the basking shark with elongated jaws full of self-sharpening serrated teeth. It sliced prey with 276 teeth, generating almost 4,000 pounds per square inch of bite force, easily enough to crush a small car. While experts accept their extinction around 4 million years ago, alleged modern sightings have created sensational speculation that these marine behemoths may somehow have endured into the present day. Stories from fishermen, unexplained scars on whale carcasses, and analysis of supposed teeth discoveries have fueled dramatic debate. Proponents point to vast, unmapped ocean floors and nutrient-rich upwellings off Southeast Asia as potential megalodon refugees. One popular theory explains the disappearance from the fossil record about 2.6 million years ago with migration to deep water habitats. Warming ocean temperatures may have driven megalodon populations down continental shelf slopes to cooler regions with abundant big prey. Mainstream science remains adamant that such a giant apex predator could not have slipped detection for so long. They argue it would require an enormous population of giant sharks subsisting off whales and large fish, yet leaving no reliable trace behind. While chances of a living megalodon enduring seem infinitesimally slim, fossils continue fueling discussion whenever dramatic new teeth specimens surface. This evidence of a true leviathan shark that dwarfs even the largest modern great whites keeps the debate swirling for cryptozoology enthusiasts, no matter how staunchly scientists stand by its assumed extinction. Number 12. Mysterious dark spot. In September 2021, internet sleuths noticed a strange dark mass on Google Maps' satellite view of the Pacific Ocean. The anomaly, playfully dubbed the Pacific Black Hole, appeared as a massive inky splotch amid azure blue waters located approximately 4,000 miles east of Australia. Speculation exploded online as people proposed theories ranging from a geological phenomenon to a hidden military base, or even a portal to another dimension. Upon closer inspection, however, scientists revealed the true identity of this optical illusion. It turned out the black hole was Vostok Island, an uninhabited coral atoll belonging to the Republic of Kiribati. Situated slightly north of the equator, this remote island is carpeted in dense tropical forests featuring towering trees and foliage so thick when viewed from above, it appears nearly black. Researchers explained that the richness and saturation of the flora, coupled with shadowing, leads to a dark appearance on satellite, rather than something more mysterious or sinister. Vostok Island holds the distinction of likely being the first country erased by rising sea levels connected to climate change, according to some scientists' projections projections. Its highest point stands just 15 feet above the waves, leaving it extremely vulnerable to vanishing beneath the Pacific as polar ice caps continue melting in coming decades. For now, this tropical isle remains shrouded in the dual mysteries of impenetrable jungle and an optical illusion seen from space that briefly confused millions and ignited creative theories about oceanic enigmas. Number 11. Middle School Project Boat. Back in 2020, as remote classrooms became the norm, one inventive New Hampshire teacher tasked students with building miniature unmanned sailboats equipped with GPS trackers to launch into the Atlantic Ocean and monitor. Christened Rye Riptides after the town name, the 6-foot vessels designed by junior high youth were meant to be recovered later at points along North America's eastern seaboard by partner classrooms in the educational scheme. So students were shocked in 2022 to receive word that one of their boats turned up nearly 5,000 miles away in Norway. And the incredible tale was just beginning. Through an astonishing chain of events, still leaving meteorologists perplexed, the Riptide's boat traveled over 8,300 miles, surviving perilous storms and frigid northern seas before washing ashore remarkably intact on the remote Norwegian island of Smola. There, a local youth stumbled upon the surprise package filled with memorabilia from American students and alerted his school. Authorities began efforts to return the inspirational global drifter to its home classroom. Investigators determined its last GPS ping occurred just outside Ireland, meaning the diminutive boat crossed the treacherous Norwegian Sea alone, before reaching Smola's coastline nearly 2 years later, from when students launched it in Maine. Both school groups met via virtual chat to share and compare stories of this courageous small craft's epic saga on the high seas. Number 10. Underwater stone ruins. Along a remote shoreline of Japan's southernmost Ryukyu archipelago lies a puzzling structure long shrouded in mystery and lore. Local divers know the peculiar site as the Yonaguni Monument, a sprawling underwater arrangement of stone terraces descending precipitously like giant steps into the East China Sea waters off Yonaguni-jima Island's coast. The colossal sunken complex with imposing geometry covers nearly 8,500 square feet, contents debated fiercely over decades by experts since its initial discovery in 1986. Mainstream science contends powerful seismic events caused a section of this region to sink roughly 2,000 years ago, transforming what was once an above-ground stone complex into a drowned relic, now covered by an average of only 30 feet of azure ocean. Supporters of this theory point to the intricate carvings woven into structures, tilted at steep angles mirroring displacement patterns from intense earthquakes. Stones feature precision right angles, much like man-made architecture of previous millennia, when major cultures occupied Japan and Southeast Asia. Yet devotees of cryptic explorations propose alternate radical explanations for the Yonaguni find involving lost civilizations or visiting ET origins. Believers cite puzzling round holes permeating through clearly designed walls, perfect steps traversing enormous hewn rock platforms, and strange etched carvings appearing as more artistic symbolism on block structures than random geologic cracks alone. Underwater photography reveals hints of what resembles a colossal temple layout to some eyes, rather than merely the remains of former military or commercial outposts, later shattered by severe tremors, as mainstream academia attests. Number 9. Rare glass octopus. In 2021, marine researchers exploring remote perpetual darkness far off Australia's Victoria coast encountered an exceptionally rare treat. Their cameras filmed not one, but 2 living specimens of the deep-sea glass octopus, Vitraledonella richardi, drifting ethereally through abyssal blackness. Hardly ever spotted alive by humans, these see-through gelatinous cephalopods shimmer like ghosts, thanks to normally transparent bodies that blend flawlessly into murky backgrounds. The chance discoveries occurred between memories of 1,200 to 1,500 feet, plummeting precipitously from Victoria's wave-lashed shoreline cliffs. Here was where 2 of the elusive octopuses, known from less than a dozen prior accounts, allowed their translucent webbed arms to pulse across screens aboard Vessel Investigator, latched to the seafloor by anchors. Crew affectionately nicknamed the pair Casper and Wendy as remote cameras spied shapeless forms materialize then vanish into the gloom on approach. Their bulbous heads and trajectories of purposeful jet propulsion are tantalized with proof of hidden lives existing unseen by human eyes, a stone's throw from where beachgoers picnic above. Researchers estimate V. richardii reaches a maximum of 18 inches in length, floating through perpetual midnight zone twilight. They likely feed on minuscule crustaceans and gelatinous animals, themselves transparent to conceal diaphanous bioluminescent forms from larger predators. Marine biologists remain stunned by such snatched observation passes to reveal their reality from previous guesses, gleaned merely from specimens net-trawled posthumously from abyssal hunting grounds. These sightings scratched the surface of half-explored habitats thriving since eons past, while we landlubbers slept unaware a spectral ballet swirled nightly nearby. Perhaps what lies beneath is far brighter and more beautiful than suspected. Number 8. Man in a sunken tugboat. The icy waters off Nigeria conceal a gruesome modern tragedy where only one lucky survivor lived to tell a harrowing tale of escape from the deep. In May 2013, a team was performing stabilizing maneuvers to a Chevron oil tanker when suddenly their tugboat keeled over and sank nearly 100 feet to the silty bottom. Dazed cook Harrison O'Keefe found himself tossed in utter darkness amid upended walls and crewmates now lost to the chaos. Fleeing through underwater passages while desperately holding his breath, Harrison fell along in blind terror until he emerged into an air pocket 4 feet high, created by a toilet cubicle. There, Harrison crouched, alone with the ghosts of his perished mates, for almost 60 hours awaiting rescue, while oxygen slowly depleted to nearly deadly proportions. Conflicting emotions surely raced: relief at survival, grief over 11 co-workers trapped beyond reach nearby, rage at the injustice of it all. By what fate or whim of physics did survival find him while dooming the rest? When the surface rescue team's lights at last beamed through the tiny window, Harrison risked banging frantically to grab their attention before he succumbed to carbon dioxide poisoning or oceanic pressure. Hauled safely topside, video footage against all odds displays his expression emerging haggard, but overjoyed knowing miraculous redemption lay within grasp after horrors no person deserves to endure. Number 7. Fish versus phone. A lady on board a small speedboat off beautiful Roatan Island, Honduras minds her business enjoying a pleasure cruise and glorious Caribbean vistas. Phone cradled casually to capture passing views for her social media shares, but in a flash, an athletically inclined denizen of the deep leaps aloft, projectile soaring clear from waves to smack that phone right from her hand into the drink below. Talk about a serious party foul from a gatecrasher uninvited. Before she can even shriek, the device disappears, blinking out of existence with it, her connections to technology and conveniences we shoreliners so take for granted these days. What are the odds? As a tribe so attuned to calculating statistics for survival strategies in hunting and migrating fish schools, numbers likely helped this acrobatic fish determine precisely the right spot to launch avoidance of a perceived predator, and so transformed from quarry to thief in an instant thanks to evolutionary skill sets honed over eons. But would the aquatic bandit have cared whatsoever about text conversations or yoga class selfies now dissolved pixel by pixel in brine? For the lady bereft ashore again, only wistful waves and empathetic friends shall respond now. Number 6. Baby shark bites man's leg out of curiosity. This baby lemon shark patty-caking swimmer's leg exhibits the most adorable and harmless sampling of shark curiosity ever filmed. Coasting the tropical tidal shallows likely for the first time, this mini-mac nibbles, then paddle on undaunted by odd land creatures lacking dorsal fins. Learning immunity takes many small bites, so sampling odd objects encroaching on home turfs makes perfectly logical evolutionary sense from a shark's perspective. Sink your teeth in, determine textures and taste profiles, and catalog for later whether scaly or fleshy. This diver suffered a cute little injury. Honestly, could anyone get angry at such cute little creature telegraphing pure presence rather than menace? If we desire security from shark surprises, protecting marine habitats seems the wisest choice over culinary vengeance. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. They were filming the ocean when something you can only see once in a lifetime happened. These recreational fishermen, trolling 30 miles off South Carolina's coast, thought they had caught a good amount of fish. But what they discovered was far more lucrative and yet dangerously unlawful. Over $1 million worth of cocaine bricks bobbing amidst the flotsam. Though fantasies of easy money danced in their heads, the wise fishermen swiftly ended their fishing trip to alert federal agents, making the morally upright choice. While one may daydream of stumbling upon lost treasures, keeping illicit drugs could only land you in severe trouble, and well in prison too. Have you ever come across anything strange along the beach or out on the rippling blue? Let us know in the comments. Number 5. Fata Morgana. Seafaring history brims with the lore of ghost ships' lands beyond the horizon and other phenomena labeled safely now as optical illusions. Atmospheric conditions creating light distortions, especially temperature inversions, get credited with many imaginative apparitions over restless seas. Modern science dubs the broader occurrences Fata Morgana, tracing origins to the mythical Morgan Le Fay of Arthurian legends. Her witchy mirages confuse reality for many a brace captain venturing through unsure domains at nature's behests. In the common mirage variant witnessed for centuries, objects floating such as boats or shorelines stretch and compress oddly, accumulate fantastic shapes, or hover impossibly as if perched atop the waves themselves rather than rooted below. To ignorance, the first credible descriptions of these phenomena indeed seem fantastical and frightful. Ghost cities in the clouds, a sorceress manipulating perceptions of depth or location. But what we label currently as tricks of light, temperature, and misunderstood natural phenomena once carried immense influence and credibility from eras leaning more towards superstition than laboratory testing methods. Would modern eyes as well mistake a megaship stretched impossibly up on end like a child's toy boat, or islands adrift atop mist as overt acts of God beyond scientific cause? Those lacking 21st century optics training and atmospheric chemistry grounding surely reacted the same as we might observing alien spacecraft. Fata Morgana still woos romantic spirits and creative liberties, but less frequently captures full cultures by the gaze as knowledge keeps lifting more veils, masking nature's bewildering sleights of hand. Number 4. Sleeping whales. Under the waves or on open waters, various whales demonstrated specialized sleeping behaviors that evolved uniquely for marine mammal success. As voluntary breathers, these giants cannot afford deep unconsciousness lest they sink and drown, unable to surface automatically for air. But suspended animation between exhaustive migrations spanning thousands of nautical miles saps required energies over 90 tons, practically guaranteeing more food than battery life. What adaptations support restoration whilst avoiding suffocation? Enter unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, or USWS, for the acronym Fluent Cytologists. Essentially, migratory whales can turn off half a brain hemisphere at a time, resting each side alternately rather than conked simultaneously human-style. This allows them to drift alongside their pod mates or loll at the surface in light dozing. In contrast, their opposite lobe remains alert enough to handle autonomic systems like surfacing for air without full waking consciousness. Scientists studying behaviors in pods noticed oddly asynchronous sleep postures, with some giants upright, yet others more laterally drifting. It turns out melonheads can indeed multitask neural assignments for streamlined living, needing both machine downtime, yet never fully compromising environmental vigilance. Number 3. Jiggly Olis whale. Curiosity about mysteries of the deep transpires today as in ages past. During seasonal science voyages 150 years ago, inquisitive naturalist Enrico Hillier Giglioli joined famous HMS Magenta expeditions to satiate deeper knowledge of species populating Chilean regions in 1867. Previous speculate about immense creatures virtually unseen or rare interactions stirred in the Italian gentleman's heart an ache for the truth. What wonders or horrors extended tentacles from the darkness that those relying solely on surface glances or indirect whaling evidence could scarcely guess accurately? Surely beings only guessed might inspire more righteous fascination than fear, should their secret lives indelibly etch onto human memory at last. Fate complied on September 4th when Giglioli, alongside crewmate Dr. Antonio Rusi, witnessed through spyglasses a phenomenal vision indeed. Estimated nearly 60 feet long, an immense whale sporting not one but two prominent dorsal fins pierced the distance, swimming at odds with established marine sciences, suggesting all giants bore single medial ridges only. Giglioli meticulously documented the enigma for further study through skeptics' years, and hence eluded no trace or replication after the initial unfathomable observation faded towards legend and lore. How or why did evolution forge such a specimen defying current models, and what became of its lineage thereafter, haunting the vast missing links of masterful mammal migrations, transiting untold fathoms before human chroniclers? Number 2. Underwater sculpture. Nestled in the crystal blue waters between New Providence and Paradise Islands in the Bahamas rests an artistic installation aimed at drawing visitors away from natural reefs while jumpstarting new coral growth. Entitled Ocean Atlas, this epic subaquatic sculpture rendering depicts a lone girl cradling the ceiling of a marine grotto upon her weary shoulders. The life-sized figure, crafted from specialized pH-neutral concrete, rests 25 feet beneath Caribbean waves about a half-mile offshore. Unveiled in 2014, Ocean Atlas measures over 18 feet tall and tips the scales at 60 massive tons. Artist Jason DeCaires-Taylor built this unprecedented underwater exhibit to redirect human activity from distressed reefs struggling to recover from climate shifts, pollution, tourism impacts, and unsustainable local fishing practices like netting. Its strategic offshore placement grabs attention while allowing fragile ecosystems closer to shore respite to rejuvenate health. Number 1. Giant eyeball. Imagine you're out for a morning stroll along the beach. As you walk along the water's edge, something strange catching the sunlight peeks out at you from the sand. Drawing nearer, you're shocked to see a massive, softball-sized eyeball staring back at you. What would be your reaction to such a discovery? Would you scream, recoil in horror, or perhaps even faint? This was likely the reaction of the first person to stumble across the giant eyeball that washed ashore in Pompano Beach, Florida, back in 2012. The gruesome discovery instantly triggered intense speculation and intrigue. Wild theories abounded, with imaginative guesses ranging from logical suggestions like the eye belonging to a giant squid to fanciful theories about it, originating from mythical sea monsters, or even the legendary Cthulhu. Experts eventually solved the mystery through analysis of the eye itself. Its color, size, anatomy, and the surrounding tissue provided clues that allowed scientists to conclusively identify the eye as belonging to a swordfish. Though maybe less exciting than the idea of the eye of an eldritch sea creature, this realistic explanation at least offers some reassurance for those who enjoy Florida's lovely beaches. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.